More than 1 million Americans went to sleep last night in a vehicle. Not a shelter, not a friend's couch. A car. Parked on a side street, a church lot, or behind a 24-hour store, engine off, windows covered, trying to make sure nobody noticed. And here is the thing that makes this different from what most people assume. Many of them have jobs. Some have kids in school. Others are retired after decades of work. They don't look like the image we have of homelessness. And that is exactly why this crisis keeps growing, because the people caught inside it look just like everyone else. Today, we're going to walk through exactly what's happening, who it's happening to, and why the systems that were supposed to stop this have failed so completely. Let's start with the number the federal government doesn't talk about much. Every year, the Department of Housing and Urban Development releases a homeless count, a single-night snapshot meant to represent the full scale of the problem. But here is what that count actually measures: people in shelters and people visibly sleeping on streets. It does not count the family in the minivan parked 2 blocks from the elementary school. It does not count the man sleeping in his truck outside the warehouse where he works the early shift. It does not count anyone who has decided, deliberately, to stay invisible. And that invisibility is not an accident. Families living in vehicles rotate locations every few nights to avoid being noticed. They choose quieter residential streets. They keep curtains across the windows. They leave before dawn. They do everything possible to look like they belong, because the alternative is a fine, a tow, or something worse. Researchers believe the true number of Americans sleeping in vehicles on any given night is dramatically higher than what official data shows. In California alone, vehicle dwellers make up close to 40% of the unsheltered population in certain areas. School districts across the country are reporting record numbers of students classified as homeless under federal law, and most of them are not in shelters. They are in cars with their parents. This is what the official count misses. And what it misses shapes every policy decision that follows. Now here is the part most people get wrong about this crisis. They assume it's about unemployment, about people who fell completely out of the economy. The data tells a very different story.
A large number of homeless people have jobs. People that are homeless these days have money. They have a source of income. It's just not enough to house them.
Growing groups living in vehicles is employed, full-time employed. People who wake up in a car, drive to work, put in 8 hours and drive back to a parking lot to sleep. Researchers have a name for them: the working homeless. And the reason they exist is not hard to understand, even if the implications are uncomfortable. Wage growth over the past decade has been modest. Rent prices in cities across the country have jumped 20 to 40% in just a few years. That gap between what workers earn and what landlords charge has become wide enough that having a full-time job no longer guarantees a place to live. Run the numbers yourself. Someone earning $15 an hour, 40 hours a week brings home roughly $31,000 a year before taxes. A one-bedroom apartment in most American cities now costs $1,500 to $2,000 per month. That's $18,000 to $24,000 a year in rent alone, before groceries, before gas, before anything goes wrong. And landlords don't just look at income, they require proof that a tenant earns 3 times the monthly rent. A worker bringing home $2,400 a month cannot qualify for an apartment listed at $900. Not because they're bad with money, because the math simply doesn't work. So they go to work. And they sleep in their vehicle. Some park near the job site. Some pay for a gym membership, not to work out but to shower before their shift.
It's not fair for the majority of your income to go simply on rent. If somebody makes $31,000 per year, now if they have an apartment at 2 bands, that's a little much, unless that's the best deal they can find in the state. You can still find some apartments for around $1,500. Certain states, smaller cities, maybe a little more than 1,000, maybe 1,100. They should stay there. Now, that's still a large percentage of their income, but at 2,000, that's ridiculous. That's why some people only can afford the place to stay. They really don't eat much other than cup noodles daily. You got inmates living better than some free Americans. It's sad.
Okay, so I need the market to crash. All of them. Every market. I want to hear rich people crying on national TV again. Because everybody else has been in a recession for years and years. You could argue we've been in a depression since 2020. If you made $100,000 in 2020, it would be worth about $70K or so today. That's how much the value of the dollar has fallen. It's lost half its value. Citizens' share of GDP has never been lower. And corporate profits, at least nominally, have never been higher. And they will keep going up because this system is set up for profit. You are the bottom line. You are why they profit. They steal your wages from you. They price gouge you everywhere you go. And then at the end of it, they tell you to be grateful. They tell you to be grateful that you get a few crumbs while they sit on their 19th super yacht. So yeah, excuse me if I want stuff to nuke out. Because people get mad when I say I want the stock market and the housing market to crash. And the car market too, honestly. I don't want to buy a car, but fuck that too. Houses should be for living in, not for profit, okay? The only reason you care about home prices staying high is because you think that one day you're gonna own it. There's gonna be nobody to fucking sell to at some point, my guy. They're gonna have mortgages that go 60 years that you can pass on to your offspring. I mean, it's just nuts. I want to buy a house, and I hope that I can buy a house in the next couple of years because I want a place I can live and customize. I can make it my own, truly make it my own. And it could be something for my future fiance and myself. I don't care how much it's worth. Why do we ascribe value to housing? You know why rent in China is so low? You know why there's cities in the US that have their rents declining? Because they build housing. Those places build housing. But the people who want their home values to stay high are always opposed to building housing. And yet you will get mad at seeing homeless folks or people sleeping in their cars when they have no fucking choice. Ugh, I just want it to dump. I want to experience that. I lived through 2020, but that didn't really count. Let's see a good old-fashioned bear market here.
Holy boomers, hold on to your butts on this one. It's not the avocado toast or the lattes, my friends. The gaslighting is crazy. So I pulled up the federal minimum wage from 68 to 71. It was $1.50 an hour compared to $7.25 an hour now. The median home price then was $24,000. Okay, the median home price now is $403,000. Hours of work needed, 68 to 71, 16,000 hours adjusted for inflation. Now you need 55,000 hours, 614, okay? 247% more to buy the same house adjusted for inflation. It's not the avocado toast. You don't need to work harder. You're doing all you can. Don't go crazy. The boomers are a disease.
How much harder can you work? You got it right. You don't need to work harder. People working so hard, they dying at the job. Yo, let me know what y'all think about this video, family. The cost of living keeps going up, but the money you make per hour is not. I don't know how much longer the system can continue to hold on. It's hanging on by a thread. It's about to snap. Half of the American people are struggling right now. Give it another year. The number's going to be at what, 70? See, that's why they got Agenda 2030. By 2030, the number's going to be at about 99%, 99.9%. Then they can dangle the UBI above people's heads. I got something to help bring you up. While they're looking down on you, you looking up. You looking for help or a savior and a politician. That's what they want. Your politicians are gaslighting you, telling you prices are down. The job market is doing great. Trump is going to make America great. Trump is going to make America collapse. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Appreciate y'all.